take it easy, right? Life isn't meant to be taken so seriously. I think the idea of having to do something valuable with your life and having to make it like meaningful and extracting every last possible ounce of enjoyment from your life, I think it's really ruining it, right? Like you should live life as it comes, right? Like you don't need to be a bajillionaire. You just need to be happy, right? And that's the most important thing. Like as long as you're happy, what does it really matter, right? You could be working at 7-Eleven, right? It doesn't matter as long as you're happy, right? And take it easy. You don't like you have to realize that stress is artificial, right? And pushing yourself isn't loving yourself. You're punishing yourself, right? You're saying I'm not good enough, so and I feel inadequate, so I'm gonna push myself. And to some extent, at some point, it gets to a point where you pushing yourself so much is only hindering your enjoyment. Like, really, let's think about it, right? How how much really does this promotion at work or getting into Harvard matter for you, right? Especially like for schools and stuff, right? Like especially because I'm getting around to that point in my life where I need to start applying to colleges, right? Um, like so many people I know are just absolutely going crazy, trying to get into these Ivy League schools and pushing themselves and ruining their summer, and not giving themselves a break, right? But I mean, you deserve a break, right? You literally just went through a whole year of BS, right, at school, and you put up with all of this, and then you're gonna do all of this to get like a 1% better chance at getting to the school of your dreams, right? And then even when you do get to the school of your dreams, you're never going to be content, right? And that's the thing. I'm not saying you should never strive for more, because you should, right? You should always push to be a better version of yourself, but a better version of yourself doesn't mean going to Harvard or Cornell or what MIT, whatever, right? A better version of yourself is just a version that you can look back on and say, I'm happier, I've improved, right? And that usually doesn't take the form of an Ivy League school, right? So I think really what I'm saying here is just take it easy on yourself, right? I mean, it's the summer. Today, or yeah, today is July 4th. Um, have some fun, right? Take it easy, because life is too short to be wasting on so much stress, right? And a lot of the stress that you experience is honestly self-inflicted, right? Like, think about it. Does stress is a response, right? It's a natural response to uh, things in our environment. But do you think our Neanderthal ancestors really imagined uh, Harvard admissions? No, they didn't, right? This is manufactured. It's artificial stress. You're not about to get eaten by a bear. You're about to get eaten by your tiger mom that thinks you need to go to Harvard to be successful, right? Because you don't. Okay. The reality of the situation is that a lot of things that you stress about in your everyday life, you're going to look back on in 10, 5, 4, 2 years, right? And you're going to be, damn. And you're going to say, damn, I was really stupid for worrying about that, right? Because, I mean, yeah, it'd be amazing if you got into Harvard. That's a false flag. It'd be amazing if you got to Harvard College, school of your dreams, right? Stanford, UPenn, whatever, right? But if you don't, who cares? Life's gonna go on, no matter what. You're still gonna be successful, right? Because if you have a realistic chance of getting into um, Harvard or any of these schools, right? You will be very successful in your life, okay? Because you have that drive. It's not the school that's gonna make you successful. It's your passion, your commitment, your drive, right? And I think just pushing yourself so far for so little is just not worth it, okay? Really, think about it like this: um, is 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 putting yourself in, like, okay, time is a fleeting thing, right? And why would you why would you make your time on this earth worse? Because I mean, life already sucks, right? We have so much things to worry about. But being a teenager is like that one time in your life that you have nothing to worry about, right? So why make yourself so worried? about a school that you probably don't even care that much about, but your parents and your extended family do, right? Like it's we're fortunate enough in America to I don't know about okay, not maybe not now, right? The job market is fried, but we're fortunate enough in America to live in a very good economy, and you don't need to go to Harvard College or UPenn or MIT to be successful, right? So why make yourself miserable over school, right? Like think about it like this, like realistically, right? How much your happiness really depends on going to this one school, or if you have a job, how much happiness really depends on getting this one job, right? There are so many companies out there in the world, and if you don't get this one job, you'll get the one after that, right? Realistically, it's nothing. It really is the end of the world, right? As they say. And in a lot of ways, you're putting too much emphasis on these things that really matter in the moment, right? Because it's like the age-old saying, right? Like, what are you gonna remember on your deathbed, right? And if you remember that you went to Harvard College, in your on your deathbed, then you lived a really bad life. Okay, if the best thing about life that you can remember wasn't your kids, your grandkids, uh, your wife, your friends, or something else, right? Um, you you had a really miserable life. Okay, so there's that, right? Like, uh, Harvard or whatever job, any of these jobs or whatever, right? At the end of the day, does not matter, and it will not matter to you, right? So why stress yourself so much, right? I'm not saying give up, right? You can try to you can try to get into these schools and push yourself, but it shouldn't make you miserable, right? You should enjoy the process, right? Because there's some fun to be had, right? Like trying to get into one of these schools will put you out of your comfort zone. It'll make you think, right? And it should make you think. I think that's the point of the whole admissions process, right? It should make you think, and to some extent, you should learn from the experience, right? Like if you're writing your college essay or whatever, and uh, you will be forced to learn more about yourself, okay? Because nobody thinks about themselves or their childhood trauma or whatever that frequently and that often and on that level, right? Like there's no there's nothing really about anything that you're worrying about that really matters that much, okay? And if and if you're worrying about something in the past, it happens already, right? Why are you dwelling on things that you can't change? And if you're thinking about something in the future, something you can change, think about d- does does that future prospect really is it really worth sacrificing everything in the present, right? And the answer 9 out of 10 times is no, right? Whether you go to UMich or UPenn, right? It's not gonna change the end of your whole life, and maybe you'll benefit from it, right? Maybe UPenn would have gone into Goldman Sachs, and but UMich got you into I don't know, Bank of America, right? It's not the end of the world, okay? Um, that's the banking example because that's the one I know best. But you can do this for anything, right? Like a lot of people go to law school and go to like their random state college or something, right? A lot of people go to med school and come from like these random state colleges that you've never heard of that have like 500 kids, right? You don't, and if you don't get into the med school dreams or you don't get into med school, there's so many jobs out there in the world. You need to be a doctor, right? Like, sure, maybe being a doctor is your dreams, but out of all these other careers, I'm sure you could find something similar. Maybe if you really care about medicine that much, maybe a pharmacist or a nurse or whatever, right? And also, I'm pretty sure you can retry the MCATs or whatever, like that whole process, anyways. So take a year of your life, get a job, work on yourself, right? and honestly just enjoy it, because you only live for so long, you're only young for so long, so why waste so much of that time on thinking about your future? Because if you keep thinking about your future, eventually you're gonna forget to live in the present, right? And if you forget to live in the present, then what even is the point of all this? Okay, like I'm so stuck by the way. I don't know. Like play a game of Minesweeper. Take your mind off of your MIT fucking internship, whatever it is, right? Your summer program. It can't be that serious, and you really this is targeted towards very specific people. By the way, I'm thinking about a very specific guy while talking about this. But yeah, right. It can nothing can be that serious. So I think take it easy. Um, and I don't know, go outside, right? Meet some friends. Um, have some fun because also, especially because like I know it's your junior year summer and you need to work to get into UPenn or the college of your dreams, right? But also, it's your last summer before you're an adult and you have adult problems, and you're actually going to go to college, right? College isn't going to solve all the problems with life, right? It's if you're thinking that Harvard is going to solve make you happy, it's not. Okay, I'm sorry to break it to you, right? It's not. Being happy comes from yourself, and if you're not happy with where you are as a person, if you're not happy um, with some part of your life, you got to fix that, right? And if you're saying I'm happy because of this meaningless, uh, superficial achievement, right? Like um, my chance to go to Harvard University or something, right? If you're placing your happiness in a school, in the hands of a person that can reject or accept you based on whether they had coffee in the morning, right? I think you're not really happy. If you say you're happy because you have a good chance of going to Harvard or MIT or whatever, right? Then you're not happy. You're delusional, right? And you have bought in to the propaganda that is um, that these colleges, right? Like again, I'm not saying don't go for the dream college of your choice or that these schools are bad because they're not, right? They're famous schools for a reason, right? But there's so much more than working at one of the fame ones, or working for big banks on Wall Street, or going to these giant colleges that have 20,000 students, and you're one graduate out of like uh, 3,000, right, a year that graduate from like these big schools. Um, place some more worth in your place some respect yourself enough to say that a college doesn't define your self worth, right? And I think that's the important thing here. Like your self worth shouldn't be tied up in 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 how much you've achieved, right? Your self worth should be tied in in realistically it should be tied in how fulfilled you are in life, right? And um, but if you have to tie it in how much money you make or whatever, right? Sure, but realize that the amount of money you make 10 years from now is probably going to vary by like $10,000 at most, um, or 5,000 realistically at most. 10 years after you graduate from college, right? So it's not that serious. It never is that serious. Relax a little and take a break, and don't and stop getting swept up in in the in the rush that is everyday life, right? Because I mean, whoa, I messed something up here. Oh, there's already two. We as modern day humans really only, even though we live so long, we only have such a set lifespan, right? And we push ourselves, but we're never really happy, right? So, take some time for yourself. Watch that Netflix show you've been wanting to watch. This is bad. Yeah, that's unlucky. Um, do go to the place, go eat at the place you've always that you've been waiting to eat at, right? Uh, because stop punishing yourself for a marginally higher chance at going to one of these prestigious schools, right? Wow, that's okay. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Subscribe.